If my money is not growing, it's causing me pain. I multiply my earnings this year. Your big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what we are all about in this space of the Earn More Money Challenge. I welcome you today to day 7 of our Earn More Money Challenge. For the last 6 days, we've addressed a number of issues. We introduced your big, hairy, audacious goal for 2022. Your big, hairy, audacious money goal for 2022. Then we talked about you just starting from where you are, not to wait for things to be perfect. Just start with what you have from where you are. Then later, we looked at keep going, don't quit. Find your purpose and keep moving with it, as imperfect as it may look. Then day 4, we looked at you doing your work well. Yeah? Work harder on yourself than you work on your job. Then on day 5, we looked at why you may not be promoting yourself. And we continued on that same line yesterday with you stopping to be realistic. To make money at some level, you need to be unrealistic. In continuation with that, why you may not be promoting yourself, why you may not be showing up out there authentically and speaking, telling people who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you are their best fit for what they are looking for. It could be because of what we are speaking about here today, which is fear. So feel welcome. Take this process seriously. I'm so excited and thankful to the people who've been taking the session seriously. I received 2 messages, or actually 3, from people who've been following this challenge. And one of them hit their number for the week. Another one identified the things they are shedding for them to meet their big, hairy, audacious goal for 2022. So the other one, I just can't remember, but it was equally a good message in line of what we are doing here. Yeah? So what are you doing? What is that you are doing towards this number that keeps lingering in your head but doesn't get to your bank account? So let's look at fear. Fear is your signal. Let me break it down what I mean by this. Fear is a great indicator. Yeah, it's a great indicator. People who have a wealth mindset look at fear as a great indicator, a signal to push through and get to the other side. Why do you think they push through when they see fear, when they see things that are holding them back? Why do they push through? Because they know on the other side, that is where their success lies. Everyone experiences fear. Everyone. But it is how you respond to it that ultimately makes the difference in your life. How you choose to respond to your fears. Many successful people take this approach with fear. They get afraid, they stop, they retreat, they hold back. They now look at another direction to find the excuses as to why this won't work. Yeah? So they operate from a space of it will not. And I want to just share with you a quote that I got from a book I was reading, Think and Grow Rich. And it says, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you lose, you are lost. For out of the world, we find success begins with a fellow will. It's all the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you were. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So your mind, your mind could be the real reason why your bank account looks as it is. So sooner or later, if we are going to approach this year to be the year, the best year where we are going to hit our big, hairy, audacious money goal, sooner or later, when you start walking on this path, you'll experience fear. When you start taking new action at new level, in fact, if you are not experiencing any fear or some form of discomfort, it could be a sign that there's something you're not doing right. Fear in itself isn't bad or something to be avoided. Conversely, it's something you want to seek and then to embrace by doing the afraid. Do the afraid. That is the theme for this episode. Episode 7, do the afraid. What are you afraid of? That is what you need to face up and do it. When you find you are afraid, it is a sign that you are doing what you're supposed to do. You are in the right direction. You're actually in the right direction. So, what is fear anyway? Is it real? I know it feels real when you're experiencing it, but admit it, most of the time, what you fear doesn't even occur. Fear for most people, fear for the most part is provoked by emotion. Mostly you find your fears are provoked by emotions and not by rational thinking. And chances are, as a child, you found fear in irrational things, like your shadow running after you. That was a fear for many children, and even today. So when you saw your shadow running after you, you imagined it was a ghost. Yeah? And it's the same with adults. Adults have their own shadows in the head, ghosts created in their head. I want to go a bit technical on the area of the mind. Money coaching incorporates neuroscience, which is the study of the brain of man, yeah, and its response to economics. So, when we look at your subconscious mind is a chemical laboratory in which all thought impulses are combined. That is where the thinking process happens and made ready for translation into physical reality. So, if I put it in layman terms, by the time you decide I'm going to do this, there is a thought process, thought impulses that have gone through your head, through your mind, in your subconscious mind. Yeah. So those thought impulses, depending on the messaging on that thought process, you'll either go ahead or you'll not go ahead, or it will define how you'll go ahead. And the thing is, the subconscious mind, when we are thinking about all these thought impulses, it does not know how to differentiate between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It just thinks, and whatever is registered there determine what translate into physical reality. What does that mean? If you begin thinking, I'm not good at, that is exactly what you'll see in reality. When you think, I can't afford, that is what you'll see in reality. When you think, um, maybe I need to, you bring doubt. Maybe I need to earn some more papers before I go for that interview. That is simply what it will turn out into reality. They will see you as unqualified. Thought impulseless. Yeah, it works with the material we feed it. What you feed in your mind through your thought impulses. So the subconscious mind will translate into reality a thought driven by fear just as readily as it will translate into reality a thought driven by courage or faith. Yeah? So, our thought process. What do you think of yourself? When we talk about your big, hairy, audacious goal, please share with me what thoughts went through your mind. Did you begin thinking, how can I even put 4 times more what I earn? How can I even imagine I can earn half a million Kenya shillings per month, $5,000? Yeah? Were those the thought impulses? And then you start talking yourself out of it, and before you know it, you don't even listen to these audios anymore because we are talking about impossible things. Your thought impulses is the reason why that becomes impossible. How about changing that story? By asking yourself the right questions instead of thinking. Yesterday, in the episode for yesterday, I mentioned that it takes the same energy to think negative things as it takes to think positive. Why not think positive? Yeah. So instead of thinking, I can't manage, I can't do it, we have elections this year, or COVID is still going on, or the economy, people are suffering. How about just take one step to the opposite direction and ask yourself, how can I achieve my big, hairy, audacious goal? Turn that into the right question. Remember, every day we wake up, we ask ourselves questions. The quality of your questions determine the quality of your life. So ask yourself the right questions. How can I make this possible? How can I get to this number? How can I earn 100,000 this week? How can I earn 250,000 Kenya shillings this week? It's possible. Ask yourself the right questions. When you ask the right questions, your mind begins to work differently. It responds, it begins to look for answers. So if you fill your mind with fear, doubt, and belief in your ability to connect with and use the forces of infinite intelligence, yeah, what happens? Those unbeliefs, that is what will translate into its physical equivalent. And that's why you see they say that if today money is equally distributed in the world, equally, the amount I have is what you have, it's what your neighbor has, it's what your mother has, everyone has the same amount. Within a short period, 2 years, money will be back to the pockets of the rich, and the poor will remain poor because of what I'm talking about here. Yeah? So this statement is as true as the statement of 2 and plus 2 is 4. What you tell your mind, what you feed your thought process with, is what you become. Like the wind which carries one ship east and another west, yeah? That gravity pulls you in the direction of your thought process. Work on your mind. Work on your mind. Observe the words which have been which come from your mouth. Because what you think of, that's what you speak. So observe your conversations. Are you in this conversation of things that are not working? How much last year was hard and 2020 was hard? The thing is, you can't change it. It was hard and we left it there. Now we are in 2022. What are you going to do about it to make it different? On your number. What is that number you want to reflect on your account consistently? We have to bring our minds here with the people who are moving forward. So, I want to speak about one specific fear. There's that fear that we put in our heads. But this fear, in general times, is fear. But I want to break down the fears that make us not move ahead to access the money we desire. And one of those fears is fear of criticism. Failure to create a plan or to put them into action because of what other people will think, do, or say. And so much connected to this fear of criticism is fear of imposter syndrome. I may look like I'm boxing myself into something that is not mine. I don't look the part. I don't fit in. Yeah? I don't have the qualifications. I don't have the looks. And you imagine that people don't know you. That's what is going on in other people's minds. The enemy is within. So without the enemy within, the enemy outside is nowhere. We kill ourselves from within. This enemy belongs at the head of the list because it generally exists in one's subconscious mind where its presence is not recognized. You don't realize that is what is holding you back. That is why that application has never gone. That is why you know that you can do consultancy, but you've never started. That is why you are in a job that you don't like because you fear being criticized, starting something else. That is why there's a promotion in your office, but you cannot apply because you fear you'll be criticized. Anyone who has submitted to this form of fear knows how damaging it is. It destroys your ambition. It destroys your self-reliance. It destroys your desire to achieve. It makes you feel powerless and a nobody, irrespective of your qualifications. So you find there are many people who are putting things on hold. It is that master's or education you should be doing, it's on hold. Yeah? You find maybe you're supposed to be uh, uh, submitting a proposal, it's there on hold, waiting. Then you make excuses that these jobs are only for this kind of people. Men are preferred for this. Did you apply? Did you apply on time and you got that answer? Why should that answer come from inside your head? Why don't you let it come from out? Why eliminate yourself before you've been eliminated? Why do you refuse to take a chance in business? There are these tenders. And you begin by saying, oh, those tenders are normally corrupt. Why don't you just apply? You just never know. We can't generalize. It's true, there is corruption, but we cannot move with that in our heads as a general statement in every place. Fear of criticism. And fear of criticism is stronger than desire for success. It's often stronger than desire for success. So the faster you beat it so that you can elevate your desire to get to your big, hairy, audacious goal, the better. So too many people refuse to set high standards. Yeah? High standards for themselves, or even neglect selecting a career because they fear the criticism of relatives, of friends. Yeah? And I remember when I was starting Profit Acumen, I faced this. One of the things I was asked was, we are still in a developing country. Kenyans are still not so much into internet, and you're saying you want to do online coaching. Who will come for this? People are busy in offices, and people are not so much internet. People know that internet is for socializing. How is it you're going to tell them you're going to start coaching people on internet? That they will not take you seriously. Yeah. And then I have an office at home and I have another office out. And the arrangement was that some people are coached at home, some people, depending on my schedule. I was told, in fact, even if people know that you coach from home, they will not take you seriously. That is not serious. My goodness, COVID, within no time, COVID came. Everyone was working from home, people joined me on what I was doing. People were working at home using the internet. If I gave in to that criticism, I would have felt so lost. I would have actually given up on my career because of this. And by the way, these criticism were coming from people who are very close to me. Fear of criticism is at the bottom of the destruction of most ideas. I pray that whatever it is, that light that should be shining in you, that which you're sitting on because you think somebody somewhere may not approve of it, I'll be criticized because of the comment somebody close to you. It can be even as close as your husband or your wife or your child or your mother or father, what they said. So you are holding back and your bank account is suffering. Step up, get out of that. Get out of that. Seek the right help. Be in the right forums so that you can move forward your desire. So there are 4 simple steps which can help you to address this fear. And they'll help you to adopt a habit of persistence, no matter who says and when it's said. So they call for a great amount of intelligence. They call for no amount of intelligence or no amount of education, but just a little more time and effort. But the effort starts in your mind. So, how do you develop persistence? Number one, a definite purpose. And what is our definite purpose? Your big, hairy, audacious goal. When you hit that number, it will just show you how much money you have, indicates to you how many problems you've solved, how many people you've helped, the solution you've offered, the value you've given. So there's nothing wrong having a lot of money when it's coming from the right place. So definite purpose. Don't shy away from embracing your big, hairy, audacious goal. Don't fear taking it in your heart, in your head, and putting it down on paper. I am getting this amount. A definite plan backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. You must desire it. You must speak it to yourself. You have to convince yourself. The first person you must convince is you. Then, secondly, a definite plan expressed in continuous action. So we are clear. What is your specific plan of action to get to your big, hairy, audacious goal? What is your specific plan of action? Put it down and back it up with consistent self discipline to do what you've committed to do. Yesterday, I was doing this audio at about 11 p.m. I had guests. I had to then prepare for my children who are going to school today. I had quite a bit. By the time I could sit down to do this, it was 11. But I was so determined to do it before midnight because it's a daily challenge. I cannot sit and record 20 videos and forward it to you. Where is the effort there? Where is the effort? And here we are speaking effort. Then 3, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, of friends, of people who are so close to you, and acquaintances. Yes? Close your mind from negativity. And this is where a forum like the Money Coaching Hub helps. Because there you find people who are speaking your language. You find people who are moving ahead and they pull you with them. When somebody says, I made a 20% increase in my revenue this month, it gets you thinking, what more can I do? I introduce a new product line. I have got a new job. I'm now the manager of these people who are rising. You will want to rise. Then number 4, a friendly, and actually number 4 is the friendly alliance. Yeah, a forum that pulls you in a direction you want to go. People who will encourage you on your big, hairy, audacious goal. Sometimes we feel alone and we are lonely with our numbers. That's why we don't achieve them. But being in a forum where people equally have theirs and they're putting in effort to achieve them will help you achieve your own. So I want to leave you with this today. And today, being our day 7, we'll now introduce we are going to introduce a self-analysis. We need to be able to see what progress am I making on the areas that have been covered. Yeah. So at the end of this video, in the narration, I'll put a link for you to access your self-analysis. Yeah. Which is it ideally highlights to you what are the things to focus on for this challenge that can move you forward and increase your actions and decrease things that are taking you back. So I believe you found this of value, and I do look forward to the next session. And for now, it's a wrap with Edith, your money coach. Get moving.